In this lesson, we're going to talk about linear functions. Now, linear functions, we've alluded to that in one of the other videos, but they ask so many things about linear functions. I wanted to make sure we knew how to do this pretty quickly so that we can work these and get these right. Now, here's what you need to make sure that you write down. Now, you may have written it one time before, but it's probably a good idea to write it down again. This is the formula for a line, for the equation. Sometimes is the word they use, the equation for a line. It has to be in this form every time. Y equals, so it always has to have y. Nothing in front of y, just y equals mx, I'm going to come back to the m, plus b. So you'll notice that there's an x and a y. Now you know that whenever you graph you have x and y points, so if I had 1, 2, I know how to graph that. This is the x, this is the y. Well, in this formula, you see x and y. Now, the m and the b can be a little bit confusing. We've talked about it a little bit, but let's make sure we've got it. This is the slope. If I like to snow ski, if I have a slope like this, and I'm going to climb up here and I'm going to ski, the quicker the slope is, the faster I'm going to go down. That's what slope is. It's sort of how steep it is. B is going to be the y-intercept. When you're graphing, your lines are going to do something like this sometimes. You have your x and your y, and here's your line. What you want to know is your y-intercept. Intercept means to run into. So where does your line run into the y? And in this case, it'd be right there. The formula always tells you right there at the end, that's where it's going to run into it. So whenever you have a y-intercept, you remember you always start in the origin. If I want to go down, it's going to be 0 and then some kind of negative number to drop down there. Okay? So there's our formula for a line. Y equals the slope times x plus the y-intercept. Now let's practice with a couple of these. I'm going to see it in a little different way that we haven't before. So let's say we have 2y plus 3x plus 8 equals 0. And they want to know what is the slope of this equation. Okay, so that's the question, what is the slope? Well, the problem is it's in the wrong form. I can't leave it like that. I'm going to have to change it somehow and get it into my equation. Now, what do I mean my equation? Here it is again, y equals mx plus b. I've got to get it into that form. All right? Notice the equal sign is here. The only thing that's on the left is the y. Well, if I look at what I have, there's my equal. Everything's over here. So I'm going to leave this guy right here, and I'm going to move these guys over here. So I'm going to leave the 2y. Now, if you remember to one of our other lessons when we talk about balancing, just a quick reminder, when we were talking about kids sitting on a seesaw, remember this from video 1? You have kids on there. Whatever you do on one side, I added one kid, then I have to add another kid on the other side. Got to balance. So I need to move this over here. It's plus 3 right now, so I have to subtract 3. So that means I have to do that over there. Minus 3x. It's gone. Now it's moved over there. But I also need to move this guy over here. Why do I know that? Because y is the only thing on the left of the equal, so I have to move this one and this one over here. Well, it's plus 8 right now, so I'm going to subtract 8 so that it goes away. And I do it on both sides. If I do something on one side, I do it on the other side. Now, what do I have left? 2y equals minus 3x. And 0 minus 8 is minus 8. I'm getting closer, starting to look like that. Now the question says, or the formula says, y equals not 2y, but y. So that means I've got to get rid of the 2. Well, it's multiplying right now, so I'm going to divide to get rid of it. So I'm going to divide this by 2, and I'm going to divide this by 2. So y equals, I've got it so far. Let's see what's left. Negative 3x divided by 2. And what's negative 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. And the negative divided by a positive is a negative. And so my answer is right there. Now the question, this is not the answer, but I am so close. How do I know? The question says, what is the slope? Well, slope is that. It's whatever's sitting with the x. There's my slope. Quick review. They gave us a weird formula. We had to move things away so that they look like this. Then I can answer their question. Let's try one more real quick. I'm going to go ahead and leave this formula so we can look at it again. How about if we have one like this? 5y plus 2x equals 0. Well, I need it to be y equals something x plus b. Y, so that means leave that there. Move this over here, do the opposite. And I've got to do it on both sides to stay equal. Now we've got 5y equals, so I have y on the left and the equal sign. Got it. Minus 2x, because it says the x thing comes first, plus 0. Is that it? No. It says just y, one y. Well, I have 5 of them, so I'm going to get rid of this 5 by doing the opposite. That means I have to do this on both sides. Sometimes you'll see people make one long line and a big 5, but it actually goes with both of them. So for me, this is the easiest way to write it. Y equals, oh yes, there it is. What's left? Minus 2 fifths x. 0 divided by 5 is 0. What's the slope? Negative 2 fifths. How do I know that? Well, the slope is m, and that was the question. That's all you got to do. In the next video, you're going to try a couple on your own. Let's see how you do. Good luck.